Yes, my friends, welcome back. Three main stories to discuss today. We talk all the latest breaking reports around Manuel Ugarte. To move on, we discuss home kit leaks for next season. And to end things, we must discuss the article released today by Matt Law, and he provides insight behind the players' terrible lack of professionalism throughout this season. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I want to see how many people are excited by the potential possibility of signing Ugarte. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Share your thoughts and opinions, and without wasting any more time, now let's start things off and let's discuss the reveal of our home kit for next season. And as you guys are seeing on screen, there's no official sponsor yet on the kit, but rumors are that the next shirt sponsor and sleeve sponsor are set to eclipse the money we were earning from Whalefin and 3, so exciting things to come in the future. But regardless, it seems like we're finally getting our first ideas, indications behind how our new home kit for next season is set to look like. And to be honest with you, it's a very interesting design. Like me, I'm a bit old school, yeah, so I feel like the color blue has to be like correct. We can't play around with that shade of blue, yeah. It has to be very raw, and I find this one to be quite dark. Who knows, maybe this is like due to the poor lighting, of course, but I'm not really feeling it as much right now. But to hold my hands up, like every season I've said the exact same thing, and these kits somehow end up growing on me. And maybe once we start seeing the players, you know, wearing the new kit for next season, then it will really sink in and we'll really get the proper idea behind how this is going to look. But I think it's quite interesting as we're noticing like this dark blue type of pattern, main color, like the little bit of white and gold accents on the sleeves. I wish the gold was a bit more prominent, at least. Maybe like the gold on our crest as well, if that was a bit more like prominent as well. I don't know, I feel like the color concept scheme is sick, you know, navy blue, white, gold. You can't go wrong with that. And to be fair with you, that's how my channel has kind of been modeled off of those colors, like for all these years, right? But I feel like the shade that's being used, I'm just not too sure right now, but I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to see and wait for more official releases to come. But it seems like we're getting our first indication now behind what our new home kit is set to look like for next season. So share your thoughts and opinions. Are you guys going to cop this, or are you guys going to drop this? Let us all know. So right now, I guess it's that time to discuss all the latest reports around Manuel Ugarte. Now, as I said in my last video discussing the player, once reports in Uruguay suggested that we are hoping to pay around 65 million euros, 5 million over the player's release clause, I instantly knew straight then and there, we're looking to do another Enzo Fernandez type deal. And since that video, it has been confirmed now by outlets in Portugal and Uruguay and in this country too that this most definitely is our play and our plan. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we must abide by FFP laws. We don't have Champions League football or European football for next season, and we must invest in key positions throughout the squad. So that 52 million you're paying up front, that could fund you at least 2, maybe 3 players based on installment plans. So right now, this is the most effective strategy in my opinion when it comes to signing Ugarte. Now let's discuss all the latest news. Now at the time, Paris Saint-Germain were allegedly in the leads for the player's signature. At the time, the overall financial package and the installment plan that they offered was just valued higher than ours. But since then, we've made things very clear to Sporting Lisbon that we want to sign this guy, and we can present the best offer. We can present the best financial package and offer to the player, as well as the club too. And what is this offer that's being reported right now? It seems that we are set to offer them at least 2 million extra in bonuses, as well as offering them a loan player. And so far, the loan options are Andre Santos, Chukwuemeka, and David Fofana too. And these players in particular are players that Sporting Lisbon are very interested in working with for next season. And currently, this installment plan offer with a 2 million bonus plus a loan player on top too is currently satisfying the needs that would match Sporting Lisbon's demands. So I guess right now, we wait for Paris Saint-Germain's reaction. Like, will they offer more money? Will they just end this deal and turn their attentions elsewhere? Or do they have players they could loan as well? I mean, we can't forget that they did loan Pablo Sarabia to Sporting Lisbon. They have signed Mendes from them as well too. They do have a good connection with that football club, so I don't think it's set in stone right now. But currently, a few things are falling in our favour. It has been reported that we are the best placed position club in the Premier League when it comes to signing Ugarte. Now we know that Liverpool have ended their interest. We know that Aston Villa want to sign him. I think Leeds United made an offer too. Another unnamed club are also interested, but currently Ugarte prefers us. Now the lack of Champions League football could be something that impacts our possibility to sign him, but I'd be very surprised that he would turn us down for missing out on European football for one season. Not in the fact that ideally he wants to play in the Premier League and we still have big things to compete for next season. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Ugarte will get the final say. But in terms of the package we're offering, in terms of the wages, we've announced that we are ready to, match Paris Saint-Germain's wage packet and even go beyond that to sign him. I kind of feel like, we have things in our favour at this point in time. But you know what? We've been in this situation time and time again before, and sometimes it ends up just like hitting us straight in the face again. So I'm not going to gas it too much, but in my opinion, I'm feeling quietly confident and quietly optimistic. Now, the only thing we must wait for now with this deal is how this gets accepted by Sporting Lisbon, because we need to remember that when Portuguese clubs are signing these Latin American talents, they're buying the economic rights. And currently, money would be owed to not only Sporting Lisbon, but Portuguese club Famalicão and Uruguayan club in Phoenix too. And all these clubs earn percentages in his economic rights. So it's going to take a little bit more time until we get more concrete news. But so far, the rumours are is that a 6-year deal has been accepted by Ugarte. He is more than happy with the contract length and with the fact that he was omitted from Sporting Lisbon's last game, but he did say goodbye to the fans for the end of season game. It is kind of alluding to the fact that we are close now to making something happen. And in my opinion, to sign a holding six of his dimensions, someone who excels defensively, someone that can complement the existing midfield players we actually have. I'm looking at you, Enzo Fernandez, who has that type of composure and ability to play forward in this game, and he's young. He will get better. He will improve. If we have the right football that these guys are regularly improving and training in, then these possibilities can be a thing. So I'm feeling optimistic. I hope we get this done. Right now, my friends, let's end things by discussing the article released by Matt Law. And bombshells have basically been dropped. It paints a bigger picture behind our woes throughout the season and places a lot of accountability towards the squads and the players. I'm going to discuss the main points from the article, then I'll give my thoughts and opinions at the end. But here's a list of things that we learned from the article. He made comments about the fact that when Enzo Fernandez looked to, question Bruno Fernandes for disrespecting Kepa, that no one in the squad came to back it or was there for Enzo Fernandez. Now, in squads that are very happy, and back in the day too, that would have been impossible. Once you start with one of our players, the whole squad is on your neck. Matt Law discusses the lack of urgency that has been prevalent throughout the latter parts of this season during training sessions. He gave examples and accounts of players that would leave training sessions to take afternoon naps and then come back late for training. And this has been a common occurrence throughout the season of many players turning up late for training sessions. Matt Law revealed that as the weeks have been going by, the standards have been getting lower and lower and lower. And he discusses how it's been a bit of a losing battle for Frank Lampard, where he's looked to have group discussions. He's looked to have individual discussions with players to try and bring back some confidence and some motivation. But it hasn't worked at all. Things are getting worse. Players are questioning why they're doing things like extra running sessions, for example. They're questioning everything at this point in time. And Matt Law ends the article by saying this: Chelsea fans will spend all summer obsessing over transfers and tactics, but if players cannot learn to tie their laces, set an alarm, and run when they are told to do so, then it will not be long before Pochettino starts echoing Lampard's messages on standards. I didn't even tell you guys about the article mentioning that certain guys aren't even doing the bare fundamentals, like doing their shoelaces and stuff. But regardless, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions, and you guys know that I like to be quite balanced with my takes. Of course, these guys will have to take some accountability. I mean, they are top players. I mean, if you're going to allow your standards to slip, I mean, what's that saying about your career? I mean, let's say you do get moved out this football club. Don't you want to be in the best optimum condition for like future clubs? I mean, of course you do. And if you're wasting time by letting yourself get demotivated and you're getting more lackadaisical and you're getting a bit more sloppy, that's not going to make you perform to your like highest mental ability, right? So these guys can definitely take a lot of accountability for matters like this. But at the same time, and maybe it's because I'm a very like people, human type of person. For me, I've always seen it like this. Like the higher ups, these guys, everything's like Lego to them. Like they can build and create what they want because they have all the pieces, you know. And I kind of feel like everything we're seeing right now is a direct consequence of this very rushed business strategy in which we overfill this squad with too many options. I've been saying throughout, a lot of these deals we did, we could have even signed these guys on pre-contracts in the summer. Like I'm even looking at Enzo Fernandez. Back in January, I was like, bring this guy in right now. We're going to climb up the table. And I look stupid right now. I got that completely wrong. And as I've said, there's things I've learned this season, not only from my club, but from football in general. And I'm a lot more respectful now when it comes to understanding what you need to compete at the highest level. But maybe this is hindsight speaking, but I'm even looking at things like us signing Enzo Fernandez. Like we could have signed this guy in a pre-contract for way less money for the summertime. That he joins up in happy spirits during pre-season when he can really like announce himself in a pressure-free environment. And maybe Enzo isn't the best example, but for me, you know, this constant stockpiling of players where your squad now consists of guys who know that they're not wanted, guys that have tried to leave that can't leave, players that are going to be forced to be sold on top of new young guys, on top of Cobham guys, on top of new January signings. I mean, come on, you're literally going to breed this discontentment. You're going to breed this type of environment where, as I was saying, the only thing we had left to play for was Real Madrid. Once we got knocked out, what motivation was this squad going to have? Absolutely nothing. Like, unfortunately, these guys aren't pixels in a screen that can just instantly shut down their emotions and solely focus on playing football to the highest level, irrespective of terrible training sessions throughout the season, irrespective of constantly playing with different lineups and different players throughout, constantly being used in different roles, constant different tactics, and terrible training sessions too. I mean, come on. Like, if that is the foundations in which you're building from, you can't be expecting any success from stuff like that, right? Like for me, it's simply this. It does take two to tango. Like sport, it's not like business at like a boardroom level. There's principles that really determine and affect success you can find competing in sports. I think Man City have shown that. Why is it that clubs like them and others can compete at a much more reliable level, you know, with a lot more responsibility behind how they spend and how they prepare and build their squads compared to us, where sometimes it feels like, is it more money than sense at times? I mean, yeah, we can discuss the guys who are the bait ones, right? You know, Hakim Ziyech, Aubameyang, Zakaria. But for me, I can even sympathize with their mentals. I mean, Ziyech to be embarrassed, not being able to get that move to Paris Saint-Germain in January. Like, whose fault is that? How can Ziyech come back and really be mentally ready to compete to his very best when he's known forever he has been surplus requirements? It's the same thing for Aubameyang. I mean, we forced this guy to sign for us, leave Barcelona, only to sack Tuchel the very next week when we signed Aubameyang exclusively for Tuchel. And then we signed all these replacements over him. We omit him from the Champions League squad. He isn't used whatsoever. What is he going to be doing behind the scenes? Zakaria, was there any point to his loan spell? And his signing was there to protect us in case of any possibilities that happened. Like, you can't expect to be competing at the highest levels when this is how you're doing business and this is how you're strategizing the squad. You will create these issues, and this is what we've seen throughout the season. So I'm not going to fully blame these guys for losing motivation near the end. When you're doing different group training sessions all the time, they're not even that good. There's no plan to what you're working on. I mean, Lampard's coming in, he wants to get these guys running again. One of the guys questioning that, like, what is the point right now? But realistically, I can actually understand that, because whoever said that most likely isn't going to be here next season. It has been made very aware with all the transfer stories we're discussing. These players see that themselves. So I guess in hindsight, we should have stuck with the squad where at least, you know, there was like some semblance of like team spirit. You know, guys like Jorginho, very fundamental figures behind the scenes with the squad. You know, slowly integrated some of these new signings in. slowly prepare for next season by already signing guys on pre-contracts. I really feel like the way we went about things is rushing everything. This undermines every capacity at this club. We can talk about the players, but what about the staff guys at the medical department, you know, the other staff, groundsmen? Like, come on, all these guys build relationships behind the scenes, you know, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis behind the scenes, right? And it's just like, if everyone's to plus requirements and, you know, you're only just like purely looking at like cold, hard data to really form the future of this football club over like the human elements, which really is what drives the success for any team, right? Then how can you be surprised that you're going to encourage and breed this environment of demotivation? And I don't care if people say to me, oh, but they're earning this amount of money, that amount of money. I think we need to grow up with those types of ideas. Like, we all know that football players at this level are all millionaires that earn tons of money. So it's not really the strongest argument to use against that. For me, responsibility goes right to the top because they control the environment, because they invest into it. They create it. They literally buy it. So I don't know. I just want the season to end. Thank God we have one more game left against Newcastle. And of course, you guys can find me tomorrow for the final review of the season in tomorrow's games. My friends, on that note, share your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about stuff? I'm EFC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.